Dr. Dror Robinson. Please welcome the doctor.
Well, I sure appreciate these few hardy souls that actually managed to stay so long. My name is Dror Robinson, and with me here is Dr. Sari Sagiv, and we are representing a company called CannaTech. And we would like to, first of all, talk a little bit about the Western scene. So, is cholesterol really the good, the bad, or the ugly one in our metabolic disease, which is like the main problems that we face now in medicine? So this is a good question. Cholesterol is a waxy substance that cannot be dissolved in blood, so it forms a micelle in water, and so you need something to ferry it around the body. So how does it get carried around? It gets carried around using particles, which are called LDL, HDL, or whatever. And are those the ugly ones? Are they really the bad cholesterol that we hear all the time in all the major scientific publications? And is really the small, dense ones of the LDLs are the bad ones? So this is another question. And is it true that HDL is really the good guy? Those are all big questions because they relate directly to a very large part of medicine today. So what do we know? Why are we so emotional about it? Because oxidized LDL particles might penetrate the vessel wall and cause vascular events. This is well known, this is how it happens. And actually you get a plaque, and eventually a plaque might lead to a thrombosis of an artery. And this really manifests itself usually by chest pain. And then when you do the autopsy, you can see that a part of the myocardium is dead. But 50% of MI patients have normal cholesterol. So maybe cholesterol is not such a big culprit at all. And then, why not lower cholesterol? If cholesterol is associated with myocardial infarction, it might make sense to lower it. And we know that patients with low LDL cholesterol and high HDL cholesterol tend to live longer. So what does it tell you? Maybe, I'm an orthopedic surgeon. Maybe you have to just lower the cholesterol, just do it fast. And sometimes we tell our patients, your cholesterol is really bad. It's the baddest ever. So how can we lower cholesterol? Diet, bile acid sequestration, HMG inhibition, and now there are the new ones, the PCSK9 drugs. So what do we know about these drugs? Diet usually fails with about 98% failure rate of Weight Watchers, and as I'm weight challenged myself, I'm very well aware of it. Okay, so bile acid sequestration does work, however, you have severe side effects, so most patients cannot tolerate it. And now the big ones, the stars that were born a long time ago, the statins. The statins are really the stars of the pharmaceutical companies because they are the best sellers. And now we have the new kid in town, which is really the PCSK9 inhibitors. And this bunch really do lower cholesterol. They made a lot of money for a lot of pharma companies, so they are kind of a superstars. And really, they have a very fast growth, which is interesting. And the market is kind of huge. And there is a question, why not continue with these statins? So why not? We do have a small problem with statins. Because first of all, despite the fact that we are using more and more of them, there is not a lowering of the myocardial infarction and the cardiovascular disease. So it makes you wonder whether the entire rationale of statins is good. However, what drives the statin growth market? It's guidelines, guidelines, guidelines. Because you have so many guidelines recommending doctors and actually forcing doctors to give statins that you must give them. And basically, the cholesterol guidelines say more or less that you have to give it to everybody, maybe even children. So they are kind of crazy, and they are getting crazier all the time. And why should we at all look elsewhere? If cholesterol is so bad and statins are so good, why should we look elsewhere? However, these drugs have a bad reputation. First of all, a person's experience of the effects of statins is usually much worse than what they, maybe it lowers the cholesterol, but you feel bad, then you are not happy with it. And so once you have bad reputation, a lot of people are looking for something else. And even though so many people have to take statins, only about half of them agree to take statins, despite the guidelines. So why is that? Because of the side effects. And what are the side effects? Those are the FDA-mandated side effects, which are confusion and memory loss. Actually, it's dementia. It's liver problems. It does increase blood sugar, diabetes, and it causes muscle weakness. All those are FDA-described guidelines, so you cannot really argue with them. And so one of the ways the media try to fight it is say that it's all in your head. However, once you get a little bit confused, maybe you don't want to take the drugs that made you confused. And so cholesterol drugs are linked to a small increase in the risk of type 2 diabetes. So actually, you try to cure a disease and you created a disease. So in short, there is some people, which is a sizable majority of the population, at least in Israel and in the United States, who would rather not have all of these nice side effects and are looking for something else. And what could be something else? Again, the other groups also have very many side effects. They are also, the new ones are also very expensive. And again, people do not appreciate when they start to have joint pain, when they start to be fatigued, so they cannot get up for work, so they are kind of unhappy about it. And again, because cholesterol is a major constituent of the brain, then people are reporting dementia, mental problems, memory problems, and so on. And this led to our looking for something else. So there are multiple drugs on the market. There is an increasing obesity prevalence, and the FDA is increasing the advices against using statins at the same time because of the complications. And there is a very worrisome risk of dementia using statins. So definitely, despite the growth of the use of statins, there is also the problem of obesity. So people are getting obese all over the world, and you are looking for something that will lower the diabetes risk, will correct the cholesterol, and will maybe affect the obesity. And this is the market opportunities that we saw, because we think we have a drug that can lower the diabetes, can improve the metabolic syndrome, decrease the cholesterol, and improve cognition. So the pipeline is kind of drying up for the statins. There are not many new ones on town. And we have suggested a complicated solution, which is partly CBD-based and partly chitosan-based. So it's a proprietary or patented particle that acts in a synergistic fashion to lower cholesterol, lower blood sugar, and induce weight loss. And what is chitosan? Chitosan is very well known, usually does not work. However, it can sequestrate bile acid, and this will lower cholesterol. And then CBD, why should CBD work? Because we know that CBD can limit the ability of the body to absorb cholesterol. Also, CBD treatment modulates the cholesterol mechanism. And it has a few other mechanisms. And then I can call Sari to explain our results and how we are planning.
Hi. I'm sorry for my voice. I have yes, 5 minutes is enough. First of all, my name is Sari Sagiv. I am Director of Technology Transfer at Clalit, which is the largest HMO here in Israel, and is our biggest partner, which gives us the opportunity to do these clinical trials already at our hospitals. We have 14 hospitals here in Israel. So I just wanted to tell you the results that we're getting with our particle. As Dror says, we're using synthetic cannabidiol with chitosan. So for the first one, we used a guinea pig model in which we gave the standard American diet, which is high fat and high sucrose. The guinea pigs in 3 weeks have very high levels of triglycerides. And then we used 4 different arms: CBD treatment, chitosan treatment, the combination between the both, and controls. And what we saw is the following. Here it is. As you see here, chitosan and CBD gave a slight decrease in the levels of triglycerides. And when we use the combination between them, you can see a very significant decrease, which means that there is a synergy of both particles working together. Then we went to a very nice model that's called N of 1 design, in which we compare the results of each rat to itself. And in this one, what we are doing is that we are giving this diet all the time for 9 weeks to the rats. At the beginning, we see that the cholesterol and triglycerides are going up. What we should see is that they are going up. We give the treatment, no treatment, treatment, and no treatment. So if we think that our compound works, what we should see is something like this: cholesterol and triglycerides going up and down. And what we see is the following. As we were suspecting, at baseline, there in first week, cholesterol going up, our compounds going down, and up again. So in terms of cholesterol, it's really, really working. In terms of triglycerides, we see almost the same. In the second week, in the second period, we see that a little bit less. We have to repeat this. I'm not sure why is that. It deals with something to do with giving the treatment before or with food, and we will see that. And I have a mistake here. Another thing that we wanted to see is regarding weight, because it's not enough to decrease the amount of triglycerides and cholesterol. What we wanted to see if these rats were losing or gaining weight. So this is regarding weight. And we see something very interesting here. While we were giving the diet, they were very, very fat. With our compounds, they lost a lot of weight, gained more. Probably here it's not more because of a carry-on effect. Then again, we see they're getting thin and getting fat again. So the compounds are really working. With that, we are starting a clinical trial, I hope very, very soon, where we're going to give, it's a single center with 60 patients. We're doing it double-blind with placebo-controlled, where we're going to try to evaluate the efficacy and the safety of these compounds before and with food. And we'll see what happens. So Cannaline, this is the team. Myself, as I told you, I'm CSO of Cannaline and also the director of tech transfer at the Clalit, Dror Robinson, and we're working together with Noach Ben Shalom. He's for 40 years working in the field of chitosan. Our CEO is David Bassa, who is here, Ofer and Guy. And that's it. If you have, about more I already told you. We have 14 hospitals, 9,000 physicians, which give us a lot of access to the infrastructure of the Clalit. If you have any questions, please go ahead.